What's up, it's you? For today's video, with a full Suction Caps ability Pokemon team. So Suction Caps prevents a Pokemon from getting swapped out forcibly by a Pokemon's attack or an item. Now, this was an interesting ability because it was very, very difficult for me to come actually and show you some strategies based around this, but I thought about it for quite a long time, as you can probably see, and I came up with something pretty interesting in some doubles battles. So, hope you enjoy this one. We got two battles today with the Suction Caps ability team, and we've got a double upload tonight too, so there will be another video a little bit later on. First opponent, this is against Question Mark, and we've got a doubles battle here, so we've got a Skarmory and a Toxapex lead. Now, my first two Pokemon are going to be Octillery and Malamar. Now, for Sword and Shield, there's only 5 Pokemon that have Suction Caps, so you're probably curious what the other one is. I'll be showing you very, very soon. So I think their names are in Korean, actually. So we got a Korean opponent. So we got the Skarmory setting up the spikes there. And we got the Toxapex going for Toxic, which of course, it always does that best. So the Octillery set was pretty interesting. It's going to be based around using Entrainment, Helping Hand, Water Spout, and we've also got Protect. So now I'm going to go for the Entrainment on the Skarmory. Now what Entrainment is going to do is going to get rid of the Keen Eye and give the Skarmory Suction Caps. Now Malamar is going to be setting up the Trick Room because this team is based around Trick Room too. A lot of my Pokemon are slow, so I thought, you know, why not? So I've got the Entrainment going. Now Octillery's going to go for Water Spout here. Water Spout does some great damage, and I get a critical hit on the Skarmory, which is absolutely awesome. So that's going to be the end of Skarmory. I was hoping that Skarmory would try and like go for a Roar or Whirlwind, but it didn't happen. I one-shot it. So now the Toxapex is going to go for a Liquidation, and that does actually a little bit more damage than what I thought. So I'm maybe thinking that it's got Merciless, but it could have just been a lucky crit. So Eject Button I thought to give my Malamar. So Eject Button actually ignores Suction Caps, so I thought that'd be really, really cool to give Malamar to show you the effect of that with Suction Caps. So I'm going to bring in my Haxorus here. Now, Haxorus obviously has Mold Breaker. It does have Suction Caps. So I'm going to be giving the Haxorus that ability, which is going to be Suction Caps, and then I've got a strategy based around it too by giving the opponent Suction Caps too. So I just want to, this is more like a scientific experiment, this video, more than anything, right? So I've got a Dragon Tail Rest and Sleep Talk set, so I thought, okay, we'll go for Dragon Tail on the Druddigon. I was like, yeah, we'll go on Druddigon. It's going to be super effective. So go for Entrainment on Haxorus here. So Haxorus is going to get rid of its Mold Breaker, and it's going to get Suction Caps. So Haxorus with Suction Caps, only optimized channel, right? And now the Toxapex is going to go for Toxic on Octillery. So this thing was kind of annoying. So I was trying to think how I was going to get rid of Toxapex. You know, as you can see, it's very, very bulky and very, very annoying. So this is really funny. So the Haxorus is going to get hit by Dragon Tail, and Suction Caps is going to keep it in, which is awesome. And I went for Dragon Tail as well. Now I gave this a red card, right? So red card is going to swap the Druddigon out. Now, what I was trying to do there with red card, I was actually going to show you something. It actually activates if the opponent has Suction Caps and it doesn't swap them out. But I actually get to show that off in the second battle. So Gastron's going to come in there, and it's going to be swapped out, and Gengar's going to come in. So, all right, well, Gengar, well, I've got Dragon Tail. That'll do, you know, a good amount of damage to Gengar, right? And Octillery's going to take a little bit more toxic damage. So at this point, like, well, I'll just go for Helping Hand or Haxorus here, right? Boost up the power of its Dragon Tail. Should be going, you know, pretty powerful. The Haxorus is also max speed and max attack elimination. So Gengar's going to go for a Protect there. It's good to use Protection. And Toxapex is going to go for a Liquidation. Now, this one also critted me too, so I'm thinking it definitely has Merciless. So unless they got really, really lucky. So go for the Dragon Tail on Toxapex. That was actually really good damage, and that's going to be Toxapex flung out of the battle. That'd be a good way to see if it's got regenerated too. So back comes in the Druddigon here, and I can go for a Dragon Tail against that too. Pretty much any phasing move or any sort of items actually are stopped by Suction Caps, unless you have them yourself. So I'm going to get, this is really funny. So I got the Druddigon Suction Caps with Entrainment, and now Gengar's going to go for a Sludge Wave there. So Sludge Wave does a lot there, almost taking out my Haxorus. And watch this, it had a red card. I was like, wait, And a red card swapped out the Gengar, so that was pretty smart there, so they dodged all the damage. So that's going to be the Gengar swapping out. Dragon Tail is going to miss on my Haxorus, and I go for Dragon Tail on the Druddigon. So as you can see, if an opponent has Suction Caps too, it stays in. So that was really, really interesting trying to get... I was really trying to find ways to, show off the ability Suction Caps, because it's pretty basic in its form and quite reliant on what the opponent does. So I thought with entrainment, I could actually have some sort of control over that ability. So Haxorus is going to go to sleep here with rest, and I was hoping then I could go and make use of my nice speed stat and use Sleep Talk and hopefully get Dragon Tail. So now I'm going to get hit by another liquidation here, and obviously as you can see, Toxapex came back in there. It doesn't have Regenerate. So I went for a Water Spout there. It was a very, very powerful move, right? And it did 3 damage. So now Dragapult, Druddigon's going to go for its Dragon Tail, and of course Haxorus Suction Caps is going to keep it into the matchup there. It was pretty funny because I can see what they're sort of doing with this team. I'm assuming the Skarmory had something like Whirlwind, and the Druddigon also had Dragon Tail. So maybe the Toxapex had Toxic Spikes too, so it's like a phasing sort of team there, which is really cool because my team was like really countering it a little bit at least with the ability. So we're going to go into Cradily here. It's got Ingrain, Protect, Meteor Beam, and Giga Drain. We got max health and max special attack ability. You know that one, and item Shed Shell. So you're probably curious why I gave it Shed Shell for. I'm going to explain that as we go into the battle. It's really, really interesting. So some quite unique things there. So setting up the Ingrain. So now I definitely can't be, phased out at all there, and which is quite interesting, which comes up. So I'm going to hit by another Liquidation. It's not doing any damage to me whatsoever, but they are targeting my Haxorus. So that's going to be the end of my Haxorus, unfortunately. I got Sleep Talk and I got Rest. So it always happens to me. So bye-bye Haxorus with Suction Caps. You did a pretty good job there. So some Black Sludge recovery on the Toxapex and some Ingrain recovery on Cradily. I planted those roots really deep, people. So we're going to bring in Inkay here. Now, Inkay is going to be a Trick Room set, and it's going to be passing... It's Baton Pass, Aqua Pressure, Trick Room, and Attract. And it's got Everlight. So there wasn't too much I could do for this, but I wanted to actually help out my other Pokemon. Maybe, one of the other Pokemon that hadn't sent in yet. So we're going to swap here. Now, this is really interesting. So Gengar came in here. I went for Meteor Beam and Cradily. So I thought this would be a pretty good set because it's got pretty good special attack after a boost, and it's quite bulky, so it can leave some attacks. And with Trick Room, it'd probably be going first. So Dragon Tail is going to be the attack from Druddigon. Of course, Suction Caps is going to come. This is probably the most times you've ever seen Suction Caps come up in a battle in your life, right? So the Trick Room is going to be set up there by the Inkay. It should have evolved, by the way. It turns upside down. And now I'm going to use Inkay on Cradily instead of using it on myself. So I got trolled here because Cradily got a speed boost. And I was like, man, that really, really sucks. So now Meteor Beam's going to be fired off here against the Gengar. Gengar lives on 1 health, but it didn't have a Focus Sash. And then he's mean look. I'm like, what? So get this right. I've got Suction Caps. I've got Ingrain, and it's got Mean Look used on it. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what are they trying to do? So I'm trapped in here. You've probably never seen a Pokemon that's trapped in as much. All we need now is an arena trap Pokemon. So I'm trapped in three different ways. And now I'm going to go for Meteor Beaming it. So let's keep boosting my attack. Special attack stat. And this Cradily might be able to Dynamax too. And now Gengar's going to go for a Perish Song. Maybe they weren't aware of the effects of Ingrain. Ingrain prevents you from trapping out, obviously, swapping yourself out. With Suction Caps, you still obviously can swap yourself out. So Inkay is going to anchor itself there again with its Suction Caps ability. There's a lot of suck going on right now. And we've got 3 turns of the Perish Song. So we got 3 turns left, and now I can go for Aqua Pressure again. This time I used it on myself. I wanted to see if I get some, boost, but I got a Special Defense Rise. I'm like, okay, that's nice. It probably would have been better to give that to the Cradily. So firing off another laser there, and that is going to be the end of the Druddigon. Thank you for all the Dragon Tails, Druddigon. It was real. Now Gengar is going to go for a Sludge Wave here, and Sludge Wave actually doesn't take out Inkay. It's like, wow. I didn't I know that I got +2 with Everlight, but I expected that to faint. So I'm guessing this Gengar has they has to have bulk to it. There's no way that's not max health Gengar or in special defense investment. Now out comes old Ernie here. It's going to have Mold Breaker, so my ability is going to get nullified, and Gengar's going to go for a Protect. So I was like, okay, well, I went for acupressure again, and I went for on myself, because I was trying to baton pass the stat off here, maybe onto my Lily, you know? That's the strategy. I went for Giga Drain on Gengar just to feint it, and it went for Protect. So like, okay, fair enough. I probably should have gone for the throw. Throw's going to go for the circle throw, but the cool thing is, right, since it had Mold Breaker, it nullified my Suction Caps, but Ingrain actually prevented me from swapping, which is really, really cool. So I got to use some more moves that prevented me from swapping. Watch this, right? So you're probably thinking, well, you can't swap out now, but I can, because I'm holding the item Shed Shell, which actually allows you to swap out even if you've used Ingrain. So the opponent was probably scratching their head there thinking, how the hell did they swap out? But that's really cool. So Shed Shell even does that. So I thought I was coming up with strategy. I was thinking, what can I do with Ingrain, you know? And then it struck me that, you know, Shed Shell works, actually allows you to swap out. So most of the time, if you use Ingrain, you won't be able to swap out. But that's one of the few sort of item combinations you can actually use there. So that's going to be the end of my Inkay. And my Cradily is going to be, you know, obviously swapped out there. Gengar's going to feint to the Parasol. There was so much going on in this battle. I was like, man, like, there's that many things. So next Pokemon to come in is going to be Gastron. I was like, well, that's actually not all that bad, because I've got 2 grass moves, or grass Pokemon left. And they're both the evolution lines. So we got Lilip and we've got Cradily here. Now, I haven't Dynamax yet, and my opponent hasn't Dynamax either. I thought, I was thinking at this stage, I don't think they'll Dynamax Toxapex. It's either going to be Throw or Gastron, but I don't know. I doubt they'll do their Gastron because it's going to be weak to grass, and I've got 2 grass Pokemon here. So I sort of think that it might be Throw. So my Lilip is going to be Amnesia, Curse, Recover, Seed Bomb set, Max Health and Max Defense with Everlight, Suction Caps, of course. And you know what Cradily is already. So I decided to Dynamax my Cradily, because I thought that's going to be a lot more bulk. Plus I can put the grass in the field. That'll power up my Lilip Seed Bomb, because that relies on quite a lot of... It's not really all that good in doubles, that set. It's more of a single set, but it was difficult to make use of these, you know, select 5 Pokemon. So we've Dynamax Cradily. I was a little bit surprised they didn't Dynamax her turn. Gastron has got a Rindo Bear. I'm like, well, I still don't think that's going to be enough to, you know, survive. Maybe in Dynamax it might have survived there, but definitely not, you know, outside of Dynamax. So that's going to be the end of the Gastron. We've got 3 minutes left of this battle as well. That this was a really, really long battle. Like, as you can see, there was a lot of bulky, stally like Pokemon too on the opponent's side, and mine as well. Especially when you got like grassy terrain and set up Pokemon like Lilip. So going for Curse here, I outsped the throw. I was actually quite happy about that. And now I'm going to get a boost in defense and attack, which is cool. And Throw is probably going to go for Circle Throw. Circle Throw actually misses Lilip. I'm like, that's interesting. So that's I actually thought they'd go for Max Knuckle that turn. I was 100% they'd go for it. So we've got like, I want to say around 2.5 minutes left of the battle. Cradily is going to get some more health recovery, as is Lilip, which is good, you know. And now I'm thinking, well, I can use Seed Bomb with my Lilip, and Toxapex is the last Pokemon. Now, we know this isn't... I was a little bit worried about Haze with Toxapex at the start of the battle, but I actually don't think it has it. I think it's more of an offensive set. So here we go. We got the Dynamax Pokemon, and it is going to be Throw. So that's a... this is a threatening Pokemon with fighting type moves. I guess they can't really do phasing with Circle Throw. Their team is sort of like, I guess it's about phasing with the Drudgegon and the Skarmory and the Throw. But here comes a Max Knuckle that does a fair bit of damage. So I don't know if I'm going to be leaving a second one. It'll be pretty close after the grassy terrain. So +1 there for Throw and Attack, and also a +1 for Toxapex too. 60 seconds left of the battle. So I went for Max Overgrowth here on Throw. I felt that was definitely the more... you know, definitely threatening Pokemon than Toxapex, right? And I did a Max Overgrowth, which is pretty good. Toxapex is going to go for the Toxic on my Lilip. I thought I might go for Cradily. I guess they're going to go for that next turn. And with my Lilip, I can go for Seed Bomb. I just double attack the Throw. I did pretty good damage there, so maybe the next turn I'll be able to take it out if I can live. It's going to be kind of close, but there is a grassy terrain and there is leftovers too, so I thought, nah, it's not going to fade. But pretty much, you watch this. You watch how much recovery there was. There was 4 turns of the grassy terrain from a Max Overgrowth. Then we had Black Sludge with the Toxapex. We had leftovers from the Throw. And then I think we had leftovers... Wait, no, yeah, we had another round of leftovers there too. See, there was so much recovery. Then there was the Poison. And then we got to the end of the battle, and that was it. So I don't know who would have won that battle, but that was really, really close. Thank you to the battle question mark, whoever you are. If you do see this, please leave a comment below. I always like to know if I battled you on the Ycom with my random opponents and that sort of thing. But what a crazy battle, and I got to show off so many different aspects of suction caps that you probably would never ever see. This was cool. So next battle here, this is against Nyla, and we have the similar setup lead here with my Malamar and my Octillery. So I got to show a little bit of a couple of different things in this battle. I happily say that I got to show off all the strategies that I wanted to do in both of these battles. So first Pokemon is going to be the Wigglytuff. It's going to go for a stockpile, so it's going to boost its defense and special defense by 1 stage. Now Whimsicott is going to set up a Trick Room. I was like, man, that really, really sucks because my Malamar set the Trick Room up too. So Trick Room got reset, which really, really sucks. I'm like, man, I could have gone for an attacking move, but I had no idea what it was going to be. Malamar's moveset as well was max health and max attack. And I had Brutal Swing, Trick Room, Baton Pass, and Hyper Beam. And I had the eject button as the item too. So I thought, just to show off that eject button obviously can still work with that. So I got taunted there. Now the funny thing here was, you probably guessed it already, this whole team was all fairy type Pokemon. So my Haxorus only had Dragon Tail, so I couldn't do anything at all here. I was actually contemplating with my Octillery while I was creating this moveset. I was like, maybe I should get rid of maybe I should get rid of Protect and give it Soak and Sense, and then I could Soak the opponents, and then I could hit them with Dragon Tail. But I never actually got around to giving it Soak there. I just kept the set. And in this case, when you're versing Fairy-type Pokemon, I got destroyed it. So I pretty much just sent it out here for it to get fainted and see what other moves the opponent's Pokemon would have. But this actually was pretty funny because this Haxorus actually did something which was really cool. You get to see it. So now we got the taunt on the Octillery here. All I can do is Water Spout. That's all I can really do here. And now we got the Echoed Voice coming from Wigglytuff. So it's boosted its defense up, and now it's spamming. So red card kicks in, right? Watch this. It activated, but it didn't swap it. So, Haxorus actually got to serve a purpose there. So, it's really interesting how red card activates against the Suction Cap's opponent, but it just doesn't work, It's interesting. So, I didn't get to show that in the first battle, but I got to show on this one. So, next move is going to be the Misty Terrain from the opponent there. I was like, okay, go for Water Spout here. Water Spout does pretty good damage there. I was actually really happy with the damage it did to the Whimsicott and, of course, the Wigglytuff. So, Pinky Puff's going to go for another Echoed Voice, and the next one I'm definitely faint. That was a crit too. So Haxorus is it's not long for this world. So I went for another Dragon Tail, which is going to change the entire battle. And now, right, the Memento is going to be aimed at my Octillery. I was like, oh, that really sucks. But watch this, right? So Octillery is holding a jetpack. You watch this. So it fainted itself. And a jetpack actually kicks in here, you watch it, right? So a jetpack kicks in, and it actually swaps the Octillery. So it does work on yourself, which is interesting. So I thought I'd show the items that actually work on yourself and the ones that don't work. So there you go. So we got the Haxorus fainting to Echoed Voice, and that's the end of that. But this is like a full science experiment video, all the stuff you'll never ever see anywhere else. So swapping back in my Octillery here, and we got the Inkay happening. Next Pokemon is going to be Deontay. I'm like, oh no. But I do have Water Spout on Octillery. I was like, this should do all right. So I went for the Acro Pressure. This time I went for it on the Inkay. I was throwing up whether to go on the Octillery, but I didn't, and I got to actually rise. So this Inkay did nothing for me the whole time. Man, Water Spout just drops both of them like a stone. So that's the end of the Deontay, and Pinky Puff got critted. I was like, wow, that was really, really lucky. So a double KO there for Octillery. You might as well say this is an Octillery sweep so far. Memento's got to count, right? So the Trick Rooms are worn off. Next Pokemon is going to be Primarina. So I thought, well, I can't do a lot to Primarina. Maybe I could give Primarina Suction Caps. And we had the Aromatisse coming. It's like, okay, well, we got the Dazzling Gleam from the Primarina. That does a lot of damage. Inkay almost faints there. And now it's going to go for Nasty Plot on Aromatisse. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a special attacking set. This is bad. So +2 in special attack. Octillery is going to go for Entrainment on Primarina, and that's going to replace Primarina's Liquid Voice with Suction Cap. So Suction Cap's Primarina. Very nice. Now Inkay is going to evolve again and go for a Trick Room. So Trick Room is now up, which is going to benefit my Octillery. this turn, Primarina is going to go for Protect. Obviously scared of my, super powerful, Water Spout coming with my Octillery on like 1 health. That's going to do nothing. And now Aromatisse is going to get hit by the move. And it does a pretty good amount of damage there. Half health. So I'm pretty happy with that. It was a crit too. So that's the only reason it did any damage. Now Inkay is going to go for a boost on the Octillery. And that's going to raise its defense. I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't really do much there. Now I can see what the strategy of the Aromatisse. It's going to be a Misty Explosion. So that was set up way earlier on in the battle. That may have been a terrain extender. I'm not sure. Wasn't counting the turns. But that's the end of Octillery. And that's going to be the end of Inkay too. And the Primarina used Protect so it wouldn't get hit by. So that was their strategy there of the Aromatisse. And I had a +2 in special attack too. So that was very, very powerful. So bye-bye little Pokemons. So the Misters disappeared from the field here. We're going to swap in my Cradily. And I was like, well, I can swap in my Lileep. So once again, we're down to Cradily and Lileep matchup again. Last Pokemon is going to be the Hatterene. Now, they haven't used Dynamax yet. They haven't used G-Max either. So it's either going to be Dynamax, Primarina, or Hatterene. It's like, nah, I bet you they'll go for the Hatterene because, Primarina being weak to Grass-type Pokemon, definitely wouldn't be the best choice to go for. So here we go. We got G-Max Hatterene. I was a little bit worried about this thing because it is quite bulky, but with my Lileep, I've got a pretty bulky set here. So if they're both special, I was like, well, I might be able to get Amnesia going here. So I've got my Amnesia going with Everlight. This thing's going to be so tanky. I believe I could almost take both of their hits on if I really had to. So here comes the G-Max Smite. It's going straight away for our Cradily. Man, I almost got dropped there in one shot, which was bad. I was like, that really, really sucks. So Lileep is going to be confused there, and Cradily is going to be confused. So 2 confusions are, left, right, and center. So it's got the Life Orb too as the item. Cradily is going to get an attacking move off, a status move off, which is Ingrain. So I thought to get Ingrain up first because I thought that'd be really cool if I get Ingrain, then Max Overgrowth later on, and then get both recoveries. But unfortunately, I didn't Dynamax that turn. Perhaps I should have Dynamax there, but it is what it is, right? So now, next Pokemon we got is Malamar. Malamar really can't do a lot here. It's not really designed to do any damage. So I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dynamax Lileep. I don't really have a lot to go for here. I would have liked to get like a Curse or 2 up there, but I was sort of running out of options here. I really had to do some sort of damage there. So Dynamax Lileep, which is really cool. The thing I like about Lileep and Cradily on their shiny version, they actually swap. So Lileep's becomes the same as Cradily's, and Cradily goes a little bit different, but I like how Lileep's is like Cradily's. So we're going to go for Max Overgrowth there. A lot of damage there to Primarina. So that was absolutely awesome. I don't even have any attack EV. So I've got the grassy terrain on the field, which is great. That's going to help my recovery out a lot and power up my grass type moves. Now Hatterene is going to go for its G-Max Smite here, and it's going to go for Malamar. It just wipes it out in one shot. I was like, man, this is definitely a special attacking set. So bye-bye Malamar. You didn't stand a chance there. And now Primarina is going to go for a Dazzling Gleam. It does nothing. I tanked that easy. I'm thinking, well, this is pretty good here. Like, I think that I've got this. All I've got to do is pretty much take out one of these Pokemon to 1v1. Primarina is going to be our next target here. I could go for Max Overgrowth and take that. However, it's going to go for Protect this turn. So, I could have gone for Hatterene, but it's not really going to do a lot of damage to Hatterene. So I'm still confused here, and I get through the confusion this turn, which is really nice. Unfortunately, Primarina is going to use Protect, so it's going to be able to live this turn, So bye-bye Primarina. If I had attacking EVs, I may have got through that, but I didn't have any, chance to get my curses up. Commonly, you wouldn't be able to get many curses up in a doubles battle, right? You're getting attacked by both opponents. So that Max Darkness is going to drop my special events 1 stage, but I've still got 1 stage up from the Amnesia I used earlier on. So, things are going all right at the moment. It's not too bad. I just hope I don't get hit by confusion. I hope I can take the Primarina out this turn. Then it's a 1v1. I've got a chance. So the Trick Room is going to wear off, which kind of sucks because that was giving my Lileep a good, speed advantage there for a while. And here comes Dazzling Gleam. Obviously not doing very much damage at all, which is great. Here comes a Psychic. Not very much damage there at all. So, this is good, Lileep's in a strong position. So now I'm going to go for the Primarina with my Max Overgrowth, and I hit myself in confusion right there. That hitting myself in confusion right there was a massive, massive thing because then it would have been a 1v1, and I was thinking what I could do right there is I could go for a cover, and then I could just use Amnesia, another 2 times and completely wall the the Hatterene, and then I could simply go for a Seed Bomb or Curse and take it out. But unfortunately, since I got hit myself in Confusion, it's going to be both Pokemon attacking me at once. I did actually manage to withstand both the attacks, which is really cool, and get a recover off. But I just wanted to show you that I easily could have beaten the Hatterene there. Even if Hatterene had recovery, I would have eventually done more damage with Curse, right? They would have needed a critical hit. But that's pretty much it for the second battle with the Suction Caps ability team. I'm really happy I got to show off all the extra little things of Suction Caps. I'd say a lot of you probably would know some of those more in-depth things. On the surface, it's quite a basic ability to do. It's not like an ability you'd really see come into effect that often, So we're going to go for a final C-Bomb on the perimeter. It was enough to take it out, but unfortunately, as I said earlier on, that Confusion hit there put me on a low amount of health. So Hatterene's going to be able to go for Psychic and then Psychic again. And, in that turn, instead of me going for Seed Bomb, I could have gone for Amnesia there and given myself like a really big boost there. I could have just gone for a cover afterwards. But that's pretty much it. Hope you people enjoyed both these double battles. I will have another upload later on, so make sure you're watching out for that one. And yeah, pretty much it. I'll catch you next time, which is a little bit later on. Peace out, people.